Hurricane Michael is drawing closer to the shores of the Florida Panhandle, bringing powerful winds and heavy rains along with it.
The outer bands of the storm are starting to hit the Panhandle shores. It's expected to fully hit the coast in just a couple of hours. Joining us now is the director of the National Hurricane Center, Ken Graham. Ken, thank you so much for talking to us. Governor Rick Scott is saying this will be the worst storm to hit the Panhandle in years. What makes this storm so dangerous?
Well, this storm's so powerful that it's got every facet of the dangerous portions of the impacts. And really, we looked at the records back to 1851. We can't find one that was a Cat 4 hitting the Panhandle. So you're talking about just dangerous winds, and actually just handed to me a second ago, Apalachicola getting gusts to 72 miles an hour, and that's not even the eye wall yet. So you're starting to see these gusts and these bands. So you got the wind, which is going to cause tree damage, power outages for weeks, and including the structural damage with the wind and storm surge and the rain. It's got every facet of the dangerous impacts.
So, Ken, the storm will be making landfall in just a couple of hours. What can we expect to see over the next 24 hours, and when can we start to see some relief?
Yeah, really, we're starting to see the water levels already come up. Apalachicola, we have a tide station there, already 4 foot of inundation. So you're going to continue to see the storm surge start to filter in. You're going to see the winds as this eye wall makes it on shore, probably around Mexico Beach, somewhere between Panama City and Apalachicola. Just dangerous winds. You think about the wind speeds. I'm looking at the latest information, 145 miles an hour. Just very dangerous around that. So you're going to start seeing the winds. You're going to start seeing the structural damage. And then it's going to take some time. So if you look at the forecast, if you think about this, by tomorrow we'll be up in the Georgia, South Carolina border. So you're still going to have these hurricane force winds even as you travel into Georgia. So not just a coastal issue here. You take that with the rain. Plus, you talk about those winds. You could get tree damage and power outages, not just the catastrophic area on the coast here, but that could stretch a little ways inland.
Ken, as you look at that and looking at the Georgia, South Carolina border, how will this storm impact those areas that were just hit by Florence?
Yeah, that's what we've been talking about quite a bit here. And you talk about this rain. So that rainfall, and of course, we got this area right along the center where we make landfall, that 6 to 10 inches of rain. Some places could get 12, but stretching inland 4 to 6 inches. So you take that plus hurricane force winds and then tropical storm force winds. Some of those areas could see, some more trees down, could see some of that flooding. But also the other issue here, too, is interesting, is you talk about the flow around a hurricane. You actually can get some onshore flow in some of those areas in Georgia and South Carolina. So you could see some tropical storm force winds. So that's why we have that tropical storm force warning up over there. And some of the water levels could be elevated in some of the areas that saw the storm surge.
Ken, I had my fingers crossed after Florence that this was perhaps the last major storm to hit our coast. Clearly not with Michael. But looking ahead, looking out beyond our shores, what are you seeing? Do you think that we will have any other potentially devastating storms like this one in the days and weeks ahead before we wrap up the hurricane season?
Yeah, I tell you, we got a couple other systems that we're looking at. No threat to us right now, but I tell you, just a reminder to everybody, hurricane season goes through November 30th, so preparedness is everything. You just got to be prepared the entire season. All
right, Ken Graham, always great talking to you. Thank you so much for your insight and your analysis. We appreciate it.
You bet.